Hello, this is Larry at larryricker.com, and in this video I'm going to go over how to replace the tip on the end of your extension cord. Now you may have gone out and hit the cord with the snowblower or the lawnmower and chopped the end off of it, and now you have an extension or a wire just hanging off, and you need to replace the tip. If you like this video, click on the like button below. You can subscribe to my channel. And check out my apps in the Apple App Store. They include Project Organizer, Project Organizer Pro, Job Hunt, Job Hunt Pro, Class Organizer, Class Organizer Pro, and Student Organizer Pro. So after you hit the extension cord with a lawnmower or a snowblower, you might have something like this with just a wire hanging there and nothing on the end. So what you need to do first, the first step is to determine the gender of your extension cord. Now, every extension cord has two genders. This is a male tip. You can recognize the male tip. It has prongs sticking out of the end of the extension cord. On the other end of the extension cord, typically you'll have holes. And if you go around and look at the outlets in your house, you'll see that they have holes. They'll have three holes. They have the ground and then two other holes to slide in the male connector. There's only two genders to extension cords, so if they don't fit together, it's not going to work. So first figure out it's either male or it's female. There's no other choices. And if you do put two females on the end, two ends of an extension cord, take the two females and you try to put them together, that's not going to work for you. Two male ends, they're not going to connect. So if you don't have the tip any longer and you can't look at it and see if it has prong, then go to the other end of the extension cord, look at the side on the other end, and if it's male, then you'll need a female on the other end, and if it's female, then you'll need a male on the other end. After you've sorted out your gender, make sure you order the correct part. It'll say right on the part that it's a female or a male. And in this case it'll have actually the female part and the male part listed, and you can just buy the appropriate part number. Make sure you have both ends of the wire in your hands or setting on the table in front of you, and that they're not plugged into the wall. You should not perform this action while you are working on a metal table, having the cable plugged in the wall, standing in water. So first you have to open up the package. If you have scissors, that's probably a lot safer. I don't, so I'm going to just use a sharp knife to cut through the packaging. Now, these packages have sharp edges. Just be careful you don't cut yourself. And you take out the female connector in this case. Two screws at the base here, and then pull this apart, and you're going to be able to stick the wires in there and connect it. For that, you'll need a Phillips screwdriver. Okay, for the next step, you need to prepare the end of the wire. So what you should do is go through the wire and check the wire for any tears, cuts, nicks, anywhere you might have broken the wire or damaged the wire when you ran it over the lawnmower or hit it with a snowblower or in some way damaged it. So after you've determined that where it's damaged, you should go and find that area and then cut that part out and then discard that part of the wire. And then take the remaining portion of the wire. In this case, the wire wasn't damaged. I just hit the tip, ripped the end off. So we'll prepare the tip for insertion into the connector. So first you cut off the end. Give it a nice clean cut. For that you'll need some needle nose pliers or some wire cutters. Then after you have that piece, you can discard that piece. And then you cut off a length of wire, maybe about the length of the connector to go in. So about that much. I'm going to clear off that wire. You can do this with different types of wire cutters, preferably sharp. wire cutters. You can also use a knife, box cutter knives. Just trying to cut the outer edge of the sleeve and not cut into the wires. If you cut the wires on the inside, then you're going to have a disconnect in your cord, and then you're going to have problems. Okay, so now we have a clean set of wire. You can discard the sleeve. And then you have a green wire, which is your ground. You have a black wire, which is your hot wire, and your white wire, which is your other polarity. So what you're going to do is you need to strip each one of these. It's good if you have a pair of wire cutters. For stripping, you can put it on the gauge here. This is 12 gauge. So I just clip over the 12 gauge, and I'm going to cut off a length, maybe about a half, maybe slightly more than a half an inch. Get a nice clean wire. And we'll go to the next one. Cut off about the same length. And we'll grab the third one, always using the same 12 gauge. And then you got nice clean copper wires there. So first we'll start, you can twist them a little bit. That'll sort of get the strands all bunched together so they go around the screws nicely. Okay, then you take your prepared wires and then you'll insert them through the back portion of the female connector in this case. So they'll go in this hole and they'll come threading through, and they come up through like that. Now you can leave it kind of hanging or dangling on there, that's fine. You can finalize that part up later. Just leave that part aside. Next step is you take the rest of the connector here, and it has 3 screws in it, and then you'll have a copper or black screw, which is the one for the black wire. You'll have the silver screw, which is the one for the white wire, and then on the opposite side you'll have the green wire, which is for your ground. So you have to loosen up each of these screws. We could start with ground. You can grab the ground wire, give it a twist, and then work it around the green screw. And you want it to go around the screw in a clockwise manner, like this, because you're going to tighten the screw righty-tighty, and it's going to go down on that green screw. Righty-tighty, tighten it right up. Then test your work, make sure it's on there pretty good and it's held tight. If it looks a bit frayed and frazzled around the side, then just unscrew it and do it again. Okay, now you're ready to move on to the black wire, which again is for in this case, the black screw. It could be a brass screw, copper screw. Brass is kind of popular, black in this case. Then you curl the black wire around, create a little arch, curve, and then you can thread it through here. Now you can thread it up through the bottom into in between the 2 metal plates, or you can put it over the screw at the end. I'll demonstrate the going through underneath between the 2 metal plates. A little tougher to get it up in there, but it is more secure. Then you tighten the screw down, and then we just have the remaining white wire going into the silver screw. And I'll thread that one also up underneath. And once you wedge that up there between these two metal plates, then you can tighten the screw down righty-tighty. Okay, the next step is going to be to put the connector back on the front. Gather up the other end of the connector and then pull that through. And slip that over this. And you have to align the screws. So two screws will be closer together and the other one will be further apart. So just align those. See, there's two screw holes close together and then one further apart. They'll align with the screws on this end, which are two close together and then one further apart. Once you have that set in there, level set, then you're ready to apply the screws back. And then tighten those down. If you don't get them aligned perfectly, then they won't hold. But they are holding and they're aligned, so then just tighten them all down. Okay, once you have that in place, now you have this remaining cord sticking out the back. You want it to look neat, so I would shove that piece up in there so it looks like the cord's nice and neat. Obviously I cut too much wire off, so you could shorten up the length if you'd like. And then you need to clamp this piece on so it grips the wire and looks nice and neat. So shove that up in there and then tighten these two ends down. And they'll grip the outside wire and hold it in place. And then you have a new end on your extension cord. You're all ready to test it. Okay, for the next step, we're going to test the wire. So we've got the new connector on the end of our wire. Plug one end into the wall, and then take another. In this case, I'm going to use a light. So I'll unplug the light, and I'll plug the light into my other extension cord that I just fixed. And as you can see, the light went back on, and the cable works. So I'm all ready to go blow some more snow.